That's right. I'm the weatherman, John Bolaris, WTEL 610 AM. On this very frigid Valentine's night, or getting ready to go to Valentine's night. It's Valentine's evening. Be safe out there. Temperatures will be tumbling down into the single numbers by morning, some below zero. We have some snow showers and some squalls around. And it's just going to be a frigid night on this Valentine's night. All right, we're going to do the show dedicated to, relationships. It is Valentine's Day. You have your dates lined up, I hope. You have your loved one nearby. Maybe it's a first date, second date. Maybe it's a have-to date. Maybe it's hanging out in the living room and just watching a film by yourself, movie by yourself. I don't know. But we're going to have a relationship expert here, and she's going to help you maybe find your loved one, that true person. Tell us what we're doing wrong, what we're doing right. And we're going to have a sexy single on as well from the Daily News. She is an attorney. Her name is Danielle Patterson. She'll be on as well and give us some of her advice, her adventures. And let's set the mood a little bit. Let's set the mood tonight. Doesn't that feel good? Monica Mandel. Can I say doctor? You're a PhD, correct?
Correct.
You are a relationship expert?
Yes.
Okay, forget about everyone else. What the hell am I doing wrong? I mean, you know anything about me? I've been around 30 years dating. All right, no, I'm only kidding. It's not about me. It's about everyone else out there, but it's a little bit about me, too. All right. So you're a relationship expert. Okay.
Yes.
Tell us about what you do. You have a company that you actually have to pay for to get hooked up?
Well,
we don't want to call it hooked up.
Right. We're not going to call it hooked up. We're going to call it meeting the love of your life.
Oh, really?
So Selective Search is who I work for,
Mm-hmm.
and they are a boutique offline matchmaking firm. Most of our clients are men, but we take selective female clients as well. So basically, we work for the men, and we have a database of women, which is free of charge to join. And once we have a new client, we delve into our database, looking for her, for him. We meet all of our affiliates who we're thinking of introducing to the man in person. So it is really a concierge, one-on-one boutique matchmaking.
So this isn't like a Match.com thing.
Not at all.
You pay a couple $100 and...
No.
No.
It's exclusive, it's high-end, but what is the difference is it is not for people who want to leave it up to chance. They don't want to go to a bar, or they don't want to wonder when their friend is going to know someone who's good for them.
Mm-hmm.
And they also don't want to go public with their private life and put it online. So they hire us as the personal recruiters for their love life.
How much?
Well, it starts at $25,000 per market.
Starts at $25,000. Okay, so if I'm coming to you and I'm going to write you out a check for $25,000 to find the love of my life. Now, what happens if I write you the check for $25,000 and you do not find me the love of my life? That must happen a lot.
No, it does not happen a lot at all.
What's the percentages? Percentages?
Okay.
I'm a weatherman. I deal with probability.
I understand. So we have 87% success rate, which is the highest in the industry.
Way.
Yes. And over 30% of our clients find love on the first date.
No.
So I want to say this. If we are not successful, and I'm not going to say we're always successful because that's overboard.
How long of a time do you give? Is it a year contract?
It's a year contract.
Okay.
So with up to 10 intros. But if we are not successful, I have to say there's usually a reason. So if the client is as into it as we are, and he's really a cheerleader for his personal life the way we are, it should work. But
if he drools on the
No. But sometimes, let's just say you get together with an ex, you put your contract on hold, and then you lose the whole momentum. Or you're not really honest with us about the benchmarks that you have for success. And you want to marry the girl next door because that's who your mom and dad want you to marry. But in reality, who you like is a lot different than who your family would like you to be with. That can stand in the way of success. So if they're completely honest with us and they're as invested as we are in the process,
Well,
and they're open to
paying
feedback,
$25,000.
it should work.
Is it celebrities or is it professionals?
It's professionals. It's high-end professionals who are selectively single, and they want to invest in their love life.
So you research, you bring them in for a personal interview. The
Yes.
females?
We bring in the men who sign up, who are the clients.
Right.
We meet. Our intake process takes about an hour and a half, and we learn all about him, his past, what he's looking for, the patterns that we can help
Do you
him break.
Google search? Because you know what? That Google search should be outlawed. Because once you have a potential date and they Google you,
Well,
it's, for the most part,
I have to
if you
say
have a
that
history,
right in reality,
that's happened to me, by the way.
I would
I'm
think.
certain.
But you know what, though? I always say to the women, they don't see a picture of the man first. So I say to the women, well, when he calls you, you're going to get his name, right? 9 times out of 10, what are you going to do? You're going to put him in Google, John Bolaris, Philadelphia. You want to find out, A, what he looks like, and B, a little bit about him. Now, if you're narrow-minded enough to take everything you read on the internet, take it to heart and make a decision, that would be a shame. But there's nothing wrong with just making sure that if he says he works at such and such law firm, he really does, that he's telling the truth about age, let's say, or profession.
So what do you think about Match.com?
I think it's a fabulous vehicle. I have friends who are happily married through Match. The only thing is it's not for everybody. There are many people out there who really savor their private life. So if you don't want to be online and you don't want to put your picture on there and you don't want people to say, oh, John Bolaris is on Match, I saw him on Match, then it's not the greatest vehicle. But as far as numbers
I'll be
go,
very honest. I did it for the first time ever. Biggest mistake of my life.
Why?
Well, not of my life. I've had many mistakes in my life, but that was not a good one.
Because?
I did it in a low moment. I went through a major breakup, and some people would say, why don't you just do Match.com? You're busy. You're professional, and you're just so damn busy that you don't have time to seek that other one, or you're lazy, or you see what happens. It's almost like throwing the fishing line in the water, but I don't like it. So I try to get off it. You can't get off that thing.
Well, you can discontinue your membership or put it on hold.
I tried.
Yeah. How long is your
I can't
membership?
get-
Is it over a month or just 1 month?
3 months.
All right. Well, that's not the end of the world, but you
It
should
is.
be able to send them an email and say, please stop my
I
membership.
did. It doesn't. They don't respond.
Yeah. That is
Okay.
tough.
Okay. Anyway, all right. So you're a relationship expert.
That's why you should look at Selective Search. We respond. We are one-on-one. We give you feedback. We give you coaching.
Coaching?
Coaching, yes.
Coaching.
Yes.
You mean what kind of coaching?
Like dating coaching, relationship coaching.
I'm very good at dating. I'm just not good at
Well,
having a full-on relationship.
Ergo the
and carrying it
coaching.
to the end. No coaching. No coaching. All right. What's taboo? What's taboo in a relationship? Okay, let's say it's the first night where it's Valentine's night now. We're dating for the first time.
Yeah.
It's a first, is that number one? I would think it's a little bit off to have a first date on Valentine's Day. Is that usual?
I think this year, since it falls on a Saturday, it's absolutely great. Because if you've got your eye on someone and you need the courage to ask them out, or if someone has given you a number and you've been holding on to it for a long time, you have the perfect icebreaker. You can call this person and say, hey, this is my opportunity to make a romantic dinner for two. Let's go out.
Well, here's the deal. No one picks up their phone anymore. It's only through a text or an email. There's no such thing as picking up the phone.
Well, so text the person and say, when is a good time to talk? Because I'm a firm believer in speaking on the phone. It's enough that you may not see the person's picture if it's a blind date, but at least know their voice. And I think Valentine's Day has so much to offer as far as icebreakers and making a joke. You can call them and say, hey, and if this works out, we have no excuse not to remember when we met, and everyone around us is going to be all coochie-coo, so that'll set the mood for us if we get along. I mean, Valentine's Day, people are in a good mood, okay? When you look around, you see hearts, you see flowers.
Well, that's not necessarily true. Now, if it's Valentine's Day and you're sitting there by yourself and you're seeing all the other couples are together, and you're there, you'll come along with me, Freddie or Johnny will be fine. You'll have a good time anyway. Hang out in the corner, have a beer at the end of the bar. As you said, it's okay to go to a pub or whatever. I think that's a little disheartening.
Well,
it may be a little tough.
Well, I write for the Huffington Post, and I actually did my last blog on singles and Valentine's Day. And what I have to say is this. If you're going to go out with some guys on Saturday night, which I think is a great idea.
Well, you know what I'm doing?
Yeah.
I'm hosting a comedy show with Joe Conklin and Big Daddy Graham tonight at the Pittman Theater in New Jersey. So that's my big comedy. That's my night. I would never invite a date to that. Because if you bomb, she's not going to like that.
I think
and
a
if
date
you get
would
booed,
find no.
I'm not going to like that.
No, I think a date
Your
would
date
find
could
that
leave.
a date would find that very sexy and cool. How
She
many
would?
times is that a first date? What's a first date? Let's get a drink. Let's go to dinner.
So taking her to the comedy show would be okay?
Absolutely. And a first for her, I can assure you.
Well, yeah.
So
And even if you don't do well,
it doesn't matter. I think it's totally hip and cool and different.
you get booed. Yeah.
You are not going to get booed.
Oh, you haven't been around me enough. I can get booed, but yeah. So I don't know. I'll have, I don't have any date, so I'm not going to do
Well,
that.
I could fix that easily.
For 25 G's,
Well,
slip a freebie under the table.
we'll see. We'll talk
Okay.
after the show.
All right. What's taboo on the first date? Is there anything? Let's say sleeping together on the first date. Is that an automatic? Well, you just ruined your chances of moving forward on this.
This is a very interesting and good question.
Mm-hmm.
So when I started writing for the Philly Post back in 2010, the first one that I wrote, which was number one for a week, was something about sex on the first date. So needless to say, sex sells, and then I write about it, so everybody was reading it. And it was basically saying, and I'll agree, that if you're in it to win it, and you really want to go for the long haul, perhaps that is not the best idea because you're going to be emotionally a wreck the next day if you never hear from him again. But if you just are, I want to have a good time, I like this guy, I think we can have fun together, perhaps it's okay. What was so interesting is after I wrote the blog, and I kind of wrote it saying, take a step back, perhaps not the best idea, I cannot tell you, surprisingly, how many of my girlfriends called and texted me to let me know that they had sex with their husbands on the first date, and here they've been married for. And I was stunned. People were coming out of the woodwork to tell me this.
That's
so
good to know.
it's a lot more popular than I gave it credit for.
When I go on a date, things get a little bit frisky. I'm going to say, listen, my doctor said this could lead to
this could lead to a marriage. This could lead to many happy years. Let's go for it.
Let's face it, if we don't have the chemistry, if you don't have the chemistry on the first date, although you could be a little nervous.
Yeah.
You could be nervous on the first date. But if you don't have that sexual chemistry, the relationship is not going to work.
Right. In the beginning.
Do you have that sexual chemistry with how long have you been married?
26 years.
26 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
When did you get married? 12?
Middle 20s, that's all I'll say.
Wow. Now you're the expert.
Right.
So you're supposed to know everything that, works.
Right.
So you've been married once?
Once. And I have to say, if I would look back on it, whoa. We met on a blind date, completely blind date. And we were engaged 5 months later. We were 24. So, and we got married quickly after that and had a baby right away. So.
Polar vortex?
If I look back at it, honeymoon. If I look back at it.
On the honeymoon.
I think, a little later, but
I said polar vortex.
Yeah, I know,
polar
because
vortex
everybody's
babies.
together.
Right.
But if I look back at it, I think, whoa, how did that last? Because it was so quick.
Wow.
So it has to do with luck, maturity, stick-to-itiveness, and...
So what are you doing tonight? Oh, 50 Shades.
50 Shades of Grey. I told my husband the minute I found that it came out this weekend, I said, I know what we're doing on the 14th.
Does he want to go?
Not at all.
No, of course not.
He is absolutely rolling his eyes. I'm like, honey, look at it this way. What man, after seeing 50 Shades with his wife or his significant other, is not getting a little something? Why is he so bored by the whole thing? He can't. Every time a commercial comes on for it, he's like, oh no.
All right, we're going to go to a commercial break because we're going to talk about boundaries and what's taboo and what's not taboo in a relationship, what you can do, we'll talk about the boundaries. And we'll be back. This is 610 AM WTEL Center Stage. with John Bolaris. Hey, it's John Bolaris. When it comes to the weather, you definitely need to know, and you need to know now. It needs to be accurate. It needs to target your neighborhood. Use weathersavior.com exclusively for your daily weather forecasts, snow amounts, and breaking weather news. Weathersavior.com has all the cool tools, and we are fully connected to the Philadelphia community through our website, weathersavior.com, and our multiple social media platforms as well. You need to stay ahead of the storm. No waiting, no phony teases or alerts, just a real deal. Weathersavior.com. All right, 6:10 a.m. WTEL, Center Stage with John Bolaris. So I'm here with Dr. Monica Mandel. Can I call you Doc, PhD?
Absolutely.
All right, Doc. You're the expert.
Yes.
Certainly I am not an expert. I need to know, are there rules and the taboo? I mean, when you're you're married, in a relationship, let's say your husband wants you to bring someone home. Yes, I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. I've been reading so much about what's going on now.
Right.
All right, you're the internet information highway, everything that's going on. It seems like the morals have changed. The 1950s and 60s, Ozzie and Harriet no longer applies. People are getting married much later in life. People are staying single or living together much more. Am I right? Am I
Absolutely.
right on that? The contract of marriage sometimes could add pressure. If you're not in a happy marriage, you may it makes it tough to get out because of basically attorney fees, all those difficulties that come up, and that you stay in the marriage for the wrong reasons. Now, I'm hearing a lot about open marriages, that they work for those who have open marriages. I would think they would not be healthy. I would think that certain things need not apply to a marriage. So where are if they come up to you as an expert and ask, my husband asked this or my wife asked this, what would your answer be? Like,
Well, I think on those notes, my answer would be that's not a marriage.
Okay.
I still think that a marriage is two people who are loyal to each other and are just with each other. If you want to get a little 50 Shades in your marriage, that's fine. But as far as bringing other people in or an open marriage,
so
I'm going to say
boundaries.
Boundaries.
But within the bedroom, anything's okay with the two.
As long as it's consensual, yes.
Right. What's in 50 Shades of Grey? An S&M?
S&M, like more bondage, tie up, toys. Go for it.
No, I don't really get.
It's not G-rated, to say the least.
No,
it almost didn't get an R rating. It barely got an R rating. So, and as a matter of fact, I saw her interviewed with Kelly.
Wait, it barely got an R rating?
It barely did. And she Dakota said that she got welts and bruises just from filming it.
Oh.
Yeah.
On that bondage scene.
Yeah.
I don't understand how people like. Do you know why they like pain for sex? I don't quite get it.
Control.
Yeah.
Sometimes it may not be just about the pain, but more about
control,
dominating, and losing control, and letting go.
Because what I read, that CEOs seem to participate in this more than anyone else. People that are head of companies.
There you go.
That are controlling. That need for you to be. They need to control you.
Right. They need people to be submissive.
Wow. That's not my thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like that. I'm not into pain.
Okay.
Enough pain when you break up. Okay, now what is the rule when you break up? Let's say you're going out with someone for 3 years. You're engaged. When do I start dating? When does that person start dating? Is there like a time to clear your mind and a time to make yourself healthy again and feel good before you can actually date? And then, then I'm asking two questions. When should you start dating? And number two, when do you get back into a relationship when you really think it would be a right time for a relationship? I know. Besides the fact that once you know this person's out of your life, then you can move forward.
Well, the first things first, I would say this about any breakup, whether it's a relationship that you're dating, engaged, or married. You need to take some time off because it takes two. So it's never one person's fault. Although we want to say it's one person's fault, it takes two to tango. So the first thing I tell people is take time for personal introspection. And I believe in that wholeheartedly. You have to figure out, A, how you contributed to the breakup, and B, if it really was more on one person, what is it about that person that attracted you to them, knowing that they were not going to be a life partner anyway? So that is a learning curve that needs to be done in order to re-enter the dating world and to have a healthy relationship. So once you feel like you've really come to some kind of terms about yourself, then slowly get back into dating. And I think that people know when it's right. When you meet the one and there's that adrenaline going and the lust going and you're across the table thinking, just get me the check and get me out of here, then you know that there's something there.
And why do people cheat?
People cheat because, A, they always need more. They're always looking for something better, bigger, different, more exciting. And they really don't know how to be happy with what they have.
The grass is greener on the other side.
And the grass is usually not greener on the other side. That's the one reason people cheat. Another reason that people cheat, and it tends to be more men in this category, is that once women have children, sometimes the kitchen is closed. And that's not a good idea for a marriage. So if you're married to a man who is still interested in being intimate and you have zero interest in being intimate, he's going to get it somewhere, you know. So that is just a fact. If both of you are interested on the same wavelength, that's perfect. If one is interested more than the other, it's time to sit down and communicate and see where you can come to terms with it all. But to not be intimate at all says something about the relationship. And you need to realize that if you're married to someone who is still interested, they're going to look for it somewhere else.
So the trust issue is probably the biggest breakup for a marriage. If that person is looking at your cell phone or going, just not having a good feeling about you and checking like anything that pops up on your phone.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't get that. I mean,
if someone's checking your phone,
no, my husband and I have never
is that a
checked
big
each other.
red flag saying, okay, this is not going to work for the long term because if they don't have that trust in me and they're looking at the phone.
And I also would say, why are they constantly thinking they have to look at your phone? In other words, when I'm texting someone or emailing someone, I'm not leaving the room in a corner, going into the bathroom and locking the door. I'm just I'm there. That doesn't mean my husband's seeing my emails, but I'm not taking it to a personal, private level. I think that if your spouse or significant other is feeling like you're hiding something, that's a problem too. But I also think it's a little strange when people have to play show and tell with their phones and everybody's afraid of what somebody else is writing. No.
And Facebook and whole 9 yards and Twitter, that becomes complicated. That stuff gets out
and
there.
I'll tell you about Facebook. I have a lot of people who will say to me, oh, that Facebook, it's horrible. That's why people cheat. No. Facebook made it easier to put someone's name in the search bar, absolutely. But that person was going to find a way 30 years ago, and they'll find a way in 20 more years. If you're not happy and that's the way you're leaning, where there's a will, there's a way. All Facebook did is take what you already thought and made it easier. That's all. I mean, it's got many more positives than negatives.
What about sexting?
Yeah, sexting. Well, that's fine if somebody doesn't get a hold of your phone and then use it against you. So I think you have to be very careful who you're sexting with. If you've got a relationship that you trust, you're having a little fun at work, yeah. But if you're afraid that somebody's going to get your phone...
Sexting?
No. I mean, we didn't date in the era.
I just want to know. You're an expert. You have a 26-year relationship.
26-year
You're doing something right.
Well, here's what I have to say. When I tell my kids, I'm like, listen up how Dad and I dated. We had to call each other. And if you were progressive, you had caller ID. So you didn't just get a busy signal. Somebody could beep and see who it is. Or you got an answering machine and you had to wait till you got home to see who called you. Imagine this.
Wow.
So there was no immediate gratification. We had to date like that. If there was no texting. If somebody went somewhere else, we'd have to write a letter and wait for the post office to deliver it to us. So we're talking a whole different era. They look at me like I'm nuts.
I know, but now we're saturated with everything. We're saturated with Facebook, Twitter, social media, sexting. It seems to be okay. You're watching the movies, 50 Shades of Grey, all right, the bondage scenes. Maybe you'll say, well, this is pretty cool. Maybe I should attempt this. Was it a young girl that meets this older man and then she dominates?
Yeah, he's older, but he is a billionaire. Absolutely, positively magnificent looking. Sexy as all get out.
Yeah.
charisma out the yang, and she is a shy, vulnerable girl, and he makes her into this kind of
sex machine.
So you've got this vulnerable-looking,
Almost every man's fantasy. No, only kidding.
deer in headlights, and all of a sudden you've got the unbelievably sexy Christian Grey.
You know, I have a little girl, so I worry. She's 10 years old, Raina Sophia, and I worry so much about her from everything that I see. You know, being in the news industry for so many years too, and hearing all the stories that go on, I get so concerned now. How am I going to talk to Raina Sophia about certain things? I don't approach her on things. She seems to know pretty much what's going on, you know, which worries me. You know, with the internet,
Right.
You know, we have restrictions on that, but there's just so much information. When they go to school, they go to the library, they seem to know everything. So I am concerned as time goes on. And I do look back at my history. So I wonder sometimes, is she going to think wrong of Daddy? Because Daddy, you know, dated quite a bit, single all the time. And if that's a healthy thing for my daughter. So anyone listening now that's maybe in the same situation, a single dad, and they have a young girl or boy and dating, do they look at that and say, well, that's healthy? Because Daddy, I don't want to bring her around just to any person I have dated. It's been limited. But then I have a relationship for 3 years, and then that person's gone.
Right.
And a relationship before that for a year, and that person's gone. A relationship before that for 2 years, and that person's gone. I mean, so I wonder down the road, see, I'm trying to do the right thing for her.
Right.
But it doesn't work for me personally, and I'm sure other people are very much in the same boat.
Right. Oh, absolutely. I think what you're doing right is you're not just introducing her to a girl that you're dating. You're introducing her to somebody who is in your life. And they're in your life for a significant amount of time. The fact that it didn't go to the altar is just saying that I'm not going to make a mistake.
Right.
And I think in the world that she's living in and growing up in, over 50% of her friends are going to be in the same boat. So there's going to be...
That's what she says.
And she's got a lot of comfort amongst her friends.
Well, I worry because she
she
says, I worry because she said, don't worry, Daddy. When we had a breakup, she goes, I know most relationships don't work. I'm like, no.
Yeah, but that's the way that they're growing up,
but she's 10 years
unfortunately.
old, the fairy tale.
Right. But she may turn around.
The white unicorn, the picket fence.
But she may turn around as an adult in 10, 20 years.
Good, 20 years from now, that's good. 30.
And say, you know what? I'm not going to do it unless I really think I'm 100% positive, and I'm going to stick with it because that's not what I want. So it could turn around the opposite for her. But kids are growing up knowing everything. And the positive is there's nothing for them to learn or know. They know it all. They read about it all. So they get to make decisions much quicker than perhaps we did because we didn't have all this at our fingertips.
Okay. Before we go to break, I just want, because we're going to come back with a sexy single. And what's the one, the dating tonight? People are going out tonight. It's approaching 5 o'clock. It's a frigid night, first date. Any advice to first-time daters on Valentine's night?
Absolutely. Keep it positive. So no talking about exes or bosses or family drama. Keep a smile on your face and keep it lighthearted. You get to know this person. If things go to a second or third date, that's great. And if they don't, that's okay.
What about keep the cell phone off the table?
Okay, power down. Cell phones are off the table. There's nobody that needs to text you or call you. Really focus on the person. Right. Let's get back to basics. Look across the table, make eye contact, speak.
What about right away you know, oh man, I made a mistake?
Well, it happens.
I know. Do you say, I just got a call?
No, you're going to
have to go right through it?
You have to be diplomatic and nice.
And you don't split the bill, right?
I think the man should pay. I think that the woman should offer.
No,
I think it shows
No. My mother and dad said, my father said, when you take a woman out on a date, you better make sure you're able to pay for the date. I don't care if you go to McDonald's or if you go into one of the top restaurants in the world. You need to pay the date. If you're asking someone out, if that man asks that woman out, you pay.
Absolutely. But what I'm saying is, and I agree with you, the man should pay. Yeah. But I think it shows good form for the woman to at least offer because it just shows that you're not.
Don't do that.
No, you're not expecting that he treat. It just shows niceties. That's all. And another thing I want to say, whether you had the time of your life or you were iffy, text the next morning just to say thanks for a great evening. And I'll tell you why. At Selective Search, we always say pay it forward. You never know who they know and who could be great for you. Just because the two of you are not a match does not mean that they don't have a friend, a cousin, a sibling who's perfect for you,
sister.
and vice versa. So pay it forward.
Sister? No, that's crossing the line.
Okay.
Okay.
Good karma brings good karma.
Twins?
Keep it open. Be matchmakers to each other.
All right, we're going to take a break. This is Center Stage with John Bolaris, 610 AM WTEL. We're going to be back with a sexy single, Danielle Patterson. And she's going to have, hopefully, some great advice for us. No, she's not. But we'll be right back. Hey, it's John Bolaris. Are you tired of getting a constant snow job from your so-called local weather experts? This is why we put together WeatherSavior.com. I've been forecasting for almost 2 decades now for the entire Delaware Valley. I really do know what you're looking for in a forecast. Honesty, no hype, simply an accurate weather forecast to help you plan your day. WeatherSavior.com. Make that part of your plan. All righty, it's John Bolaris, 610 WTEL, Center Stage. And we're having a little Valentine's Day special. This is an open forum entertainment show. We're going to have a wide range of guests all the time, but we decided to make this all about Valentine's and first-time dates and long-time dates and make it a lovely, warm night on a very, very frigid night. Bone-chilling cold, brutally cold, the coldest temperature since 1996 invading the region. So you better hope you got a hot loved one nearby and snuggle up. All right, we're going to bring on the sexy single. And her name is Danielle Patterson. Sexy Singles are from Daily News. That's been going on for quite a few years now. At one time, I was a sexy single. Now I'm very much a very old, decrepit single. So, but I do have a very sexy single on it. Danielle Patterson, welcome.
Thank you. I'm enjoying myself. Glad to be here.
You're enjoying yourself. Okay.
Yes.
Now, tell us what you do.
I'm an attorney by day, and I also host a local television talk show that's all about the single scene, love and relationships here in the Philadelphia metropolitan area called Single on Saturday Night TV.
So you get what I'm doing here. This is this is just gravy for you. This is what you guys talk about all the time. You have a co-host on the show?
Yes, my co-host is none other than Shelley Williams, famous from Urban Expressions for the last 20 years. She's been doing the underground hip-hop urban scene, and she decided she wanted to do something a little bit more grown and sexy.
And you're single?
Yes.
How long you've been single?
I'm perpetually single. Yeah, I don't know what you're doing. I don't count that because my belief, since I'm an attorney, you are single until you're married. And since I am Danielle Never Said I Do because I don't Patterson, that means that I am perpetually single.
You're single. Okay.
Yes.
You've never been married.
No, I've never been married.
I know your trait. You look for personality more than anything else. This is what I hear.
Yes, absolutely. I'm all about the personality because it takes a lot to handle all of this right here.
Okay. And I hear your favorite sexual organ is the mind.
Yes, absolutely. Because you got to stimulate that before you can stimulate anything else. Because I'm the sexiest thing I ever met. So all that chemistry you was talking about, I can get it popping by myself.
So let me see. You come on quite strong, and you have a strong personality. So when you meet that guy.
Okay.
Now, does he get a little nervous because you're probably going to have you know what you want. He's got to come to the plate and bring the goods, right? He's got to be confident.
Well, I don't know if he's nervous because if he act like he's nervous, then you know what? Game on, because you just became my But okay, can't say that on radio.
No. Oh, you can't. You can't. Absolutely. You say anything you want, but you can't curse. I said sexual organ. That was okay. Now, do you serial date?
No. I don't. Okay, let me understand what you mean by serial.
Well, I mean, do you do 1 or 2 dates a week? Do you do one date every couple of months? Do you just say whenever I feel like it? If I'm interested, I'm going to go on a date. I don't have any kind of dating pattern.
If you ask me, I will go.
Really?
Yes.
Anyone ask you, will go.
If anyone asks
Come
me,
on,
I will go.
You can't do that.
You can be short and fat. You can look like a hermit. You can be missing some teeth. I don't care. You ask me, I'm going. If you ask me, I'm going.
No way.
Yes. Because everything is an experience. And that's what helps me to know who I am, and it helps me to know what I want.
You like bad experiences.
No, they're not necessarily bad experiences. Because, the worst-looking dudes had a best conversation because they have to.
So 4'8", 480 pounds.
You know what? If you can be breast high and fit underneath the shelf, that's fine. We can do that. As long as you comfortable with it, I'm all for it. Because I'm going to tell you, You have a whole demographic you don't know nothing about. Because my mama and my grandma and my aunts, them 70-year-old black ladies love you. They're all excited. They was like, oh, you know, you hot.
Yeah, that's
so there
been
you go. You know, and they're all as big as me. So there you go.
All right. So what? Maybe you can leave their numbers.
You know, and you know what? They're so old. They got numbers like WA9, and so you know, I can get them for you. I even know those numbers because I learned them in kindergarten.
Something to be said for experience.
Yes.
You know,
they'll learn you something. You might be a little bit less confused.
Yeah, is this true? You got this, Monica, right? Am I good? Yeah. She's open to everything.
I agree with her 100%. I tell my clients, be open to all introductions.
Really?
And I also tell them, give people a second chance because first dates are very nerve-wracking.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like a job interview. So once you go on a second date, it's already a known quantity, and then you can really assess if this is going to go anywhere or not. So I agree with her.
So, Daniel, you have no age restrictions?
No, actually, I'm from Team Like I'm Young. So
I think I might be from that team a little bit at times. I've always dated. I think I've dated too young.
Really?
I've always dated young. You know why? Do you know why I've dated young? People say, well, you're dating young because you like young, beautiful women. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. But they seem to be less jaded.
And more flexible.
Flexible. They don't have, sometimes, listen, a lot of baggage. Mm-hmm. When there's a lot of baggage, it's hard to get on the plane with a lot of baggage. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you like it light, fresh mind, energized, still has that clarity. I'm not talking about very young. I'm talking, just if it's okay for an older guy to date a younger woman. I think it's okay. Is that okay?
It is okay. It's up to you. But it is okay. How young are we talking?
27 to 42.
All right. So I will say, let's get out of the 20s and more in the middle 30s. I mean, that's young, 27.
Is 27 young?
I don't know. My last man was 13 years younger than me, so.
Oh, so see?
But he's probably more mature than you are.
Your age minus 13 is not 27.
You're right.
No, I'm just, he might have been more mature than you.
You're right.
He might have been.
All right, I'll push it up to 30.
You know?
Push it up to 30.
Yeah. So I find that it really comes to the individual.
Yeah, it is. That's
really
very true.
It's about the individual.
It is.
And some people have a different mindset. And the reason that I'm on, in Tribe Like I'm Young these days is just because the men who are in my age group, you're looking at the mid 30s to I guess the mid 40s. Mm-hmm. They're all still. I'm just divorced and I hate all women and I don't want to do this and I'm still trying to get whatever with my kids.
Right. There's no freshness. I don't want that.
I don't have no kids. I don't want to be on your kid date. Go handle that.
That's baggage.
Go handle that.
I don't want that.
And then take me to fancy dinner. I don't want to get ruled on. I don't want to change no diapers.
Right.
I don't care nothing about your kids.
So you do have limits. See?
No, that's not limits.
She has benchmarks.
Yeah, you have benchmarks.
That means, but see, I had to get to the date to learn that you got all these child care issues.
Why even bother on the date? Because quality of time is so important.
No, but how I'm going to learn that you got all these child care issues? I got to go on a date with you first.
Selective search. We have all the benchmarks right in front of us. So therefore, if you don't want someone with young children, not going to happen.
Well, see, I don't necessarily say I don't want anyone with young children. I don't want you and your child care issues. That's a different statement. I bet your benchmark form don't have it.
Well, we do ask people who have young children and they're divorced, can you date? What is your situation? Do you have family around you?
And are they honest about it? Because I find that they're not honest about it.
Right.
They say that they all ready and open, and then on date number 2, they want to bring the kid.
No. Yeah, and I would say that's right there with the cell phone. Power down and no kids on
number
date number
1
2.
on a date, early dating. You don't bring your child involved because you don't want that child to know.
Well, even worse, I'm gonna tell you.
What?
The latest thing that happened to me is I got canceled on twice because some kid issue. And it's like, look, it take a lot of time to get all this together.
Right.
And you gonna call me talking about we got a problem. No, you got a problem because I'm gonna go on a date with the other dude that called me yesterday. That's what I'm gonna do.
Now I'm gonna play a little
That's
music. If this will this ever happen on your first date? We're gonna listen to this.
I smell sex and candy here. Who's that lounging in my chair?
Listen.
Who's that casting devious stares in my direction? Mama, this surely is a dream. Yeah.
You missed the very beginning there. It's Sex and Candy. It's about meeting someone. Well, you know the story behind this song?
No.
Okay, here's the story behind Sex and Candy. It's by Marcy Playground. Okay, they were recording a studio just outside of Philadelphia. And the singer, they all went out because they had mind burps. They couldn't come up with a song. So, you get writer's block. They went out, had a few pops. One of the singers wound up hooking up in the studio. So when the boys came back into the studio, they said, I smell candy. I smell sex. And they came up with sex and candy from a guy hooking up in the studio. Would you hook up on a first date?
Theoretically, yes. Has it ever occurred? No.
Wow. And so what are you have rules or guidelines? You have no real rules.
No,
you just play it by ear.
I ain't got none of that. All that rule stuff. The rules, soon as you start with the rules, every person is unique and an individual. So if I want to put you in the rules category, I just put you in a box. And you may not fit in the box properly. So I have to date John according to who John is, and John has to date Danielle according to who Danielle is. So I might have that chemistry with that man that smell like sex to me, and I want to give it up to him before we even get out the parking lot.
Uh-huh.
And theoretically, I would do that. However, they got to know how to get the sex. See, it ain't just I want to give it to you.
Right.
You got to know how to get it.
Now, you were a sexy single Daily News, so you had to have many, many requests.
Yes, that was hilarious.
So
it is hilarious because the whole concept of me being sexy, I mean, you know, I'm attractive and beautiful.
No,
and
I saw your
fantastic,
bathing
and
suit.
definitely
Bathing
a
suit
diva,
shot was
but, you know.
beautiful. That bathing suit is very nice, very
Thank
sweet.
you.
Very
But
sweet.
the whole concept of sexy is hilarious.
No, I know. It's all in, you know, what beauty's in the mind of the beholder. So did you meet any
Yes,
good
I
dates
did.
from there? I mean, did anything go beyond 1, 2, 3 dates? Or,
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
well, what happened?
And interestingly,
How many dates? Wait. How many dates first from the Sexy Singles? Was it 1, 2, 3?
that I actually went on
One,
dates?
because of Sexy Singles. Yes.
Actual dates.
Around
6 dates.
Six
There
dates.
were actually 6 dates that I actually went on.
Okay.
One of the dudes lasted for several months.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Worst date. How was the worst date of the 6? Do you remember what happened?
The worst date, the man that wanted to talk about the Illuminati and how Jay-Z and Beyonce had basically brainwashed us all, but he didn't have to worry about that because he had the secret antenna to block that, and he was going to help me in case I was brainwashed so that we could get to the next level of life and do the world domination takeover.
Yeah, I met a girl like that. All right. And the best date. So this one lasted for several months.
Yes.
Well, tell us.
Well, actually, it kind of wasn't sexy single, but it kind of was, which is that he had been introduced to me some years ago when he was still married. And when he saw me in the paper, he's like, oh, she's single. And he was divorced now. So it was kind of like he hit up the mutual friend, and mutual friend contacted me, and I couldn't remember the dude from Can of Paint. I was like, who are you talking about? I didn't know, like, whatever. Yeah, I had no clue he was talking about. But again, all comers. So you asked me on a date, I'm going. And we really hit it off and had a great time. Enjoyed each other for some time.
Wow. What was the first date?
The
Where was
first
it?
date was a Sixers game.
Ah, very good. Very good. What game was it? Do you remember?
No, I wasn't thinking about that game.
LeBron not in town sometimes.
I
you
don't
know.
know. I was too busy tossing them back in the premium suite thing.
Oh, you had a suite.
Yeah, that's why I went. Look, duh.
Good move.
Yeah.
So he had some power. Had some
Yes.
clout. Attorney?
No, he's a sports agent.
Sport. I might know him.
You might.
I might know him. So you're tossing him back in the suite. So that was a good first
It
impression.
was a good first date.
So first impression means a lot on a date.
Absolutely, because again, I didn't remember him from a can of paint, so now I definitely remember him. And when we started talking, it was like, oh, I do remember the conversation with him even, but he was there with his wife, and he totally wasn't my steez. Physically, what I would look for, like that man that smelled like sex, yeah, that wasn't him.
That wasn't him.
That wasn't
But it was
him.
a great
'Cause
icebreaker.
He was at least a foot too short and about 80 pounds too heavy, because I don't like no fat man, I don't like no short man. But hey,
But I thought that was on your list. It's okay because you
it's
can learn.
okay, but I said that ain't what smell like sex.
No, that would
ain't-
not
when you
smell like
walking down the
sex.
street and you go, sex, the short fat man ain't
No,
it.
no.
But that don't mean the short fat man can't get it under the right
You know what?
circumstances.
You know what? Smell has a lot to do with being.
You got to give your
passionate.
testosterone. Got to talk to my estrogen.
Sexual stimulation has to do with smell. I think a little bit, right? Out there in the wild.
Yeah, a nice perfume, aftershave, it's sexy. No
Right.
question.
You like mine?
Yeah, what is it?
Well, Xenia, Intenso Xenia.
Wow, fancy.
Yeah, well, some like it.
Right.
You know, but it hasn't worked lately. Okay, so that was a great. I think going to a sporting event, something casual, is a great icebreaker because you don't have that intensity of sitting one-on-one at a dinner. I don't think you should ever do a dinner, real romantic dinner on a first date because that's awkward.
No, I don't. I
know
don't want to
it.
gaze into your eyes because again, you
Yeah.
might not be the dude that smell like sex to me.
Right.
So like then I'm looking everywhere else because like, oh my God, he got one eye that's crossed.
Yeah.
So I mean, it could be all kinds of things. So I'm really not into the whole intense thing. I need to bring out your personality, and I would prefer that we go somewhere that's comfortable for you, not even necessarily somewhere that's comfortable for me, because a lot of times I think the women receive in a relationship and the men give. And so at that stage, he's trying to give, but he's not comfortable in the situation. It's not the surroundings that, I want you to be on your A game. So then we can decide whether or not, because when you give your A game, you're more comfortable, you're giving me information, you're more open to talking, and I can receive that and give it back. Rather than we're sitting there pretending to gaze into each other's eyes, and I'm really just wondering whether or not they got creme brulee.
And then what happened to the yay game? How did it end? What happened?
I don't remember nothing about that. I don't. I really don't. I really, really don't. I remember that I got to go backstage to meet some of the people, and then that's when I realized I was old, because then I was like, wow, I don't even know who these players are anymore.
Oh.
I was like, wow. Because then some people saw some pictures on Instagram. They were like, oh, my God, I was like, I don't even know who that was. I was like, I was standing there talking to him like, why are you so tall? And then somebody was like, oh, because I was like, oh, okay. I had no clue.
So what are you doing Valentine's night? Valentine's night right now on this frigid night.
Okay, so I have a whole Valentine's Day system, and it's been working for me.
What is it?
This. I don't accept a date from any man on Valentine's Day.
Oh, see, you're going against the good doctor.
No. That's because I'm very popular.
Okay,
So,
I can see that.
We have a system
All right.
that no one gets a date on Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is reserved for my mother.
Oh.
And so she and I have
nice.
Valentine's Day with, there's a group of ladies. My mother is 15 years older than the one lady. The other lady, she's 15 years older than me, and I'm 15 years older than her daughter. And we get together and we have a girls' night in every year on Valentine's Day. And everybody's responsible for something different. I am responsible for the chick flick. My girlfriend is responsible for cooking dinner. My mother buys everyone a Valentine's Day gift.
That's very sweet.
And her daughter gets everyone some candy. And that's what we do on Valentine's Day.
No sex and candy, just candy.
Yeah, just candy. So we sit around, we play board games, we watch the thing and dance around and get drunk a little bit, and then everybody go home. That's what we do on Valentine's Day.
That's very nice.
And that way, my mother had 47 years on my dad before he passed.
Whoa.
So this is very difficult for her every year.
Oh.
And so, and it's just more important because that's my first love. My mother was my first love.
Of course. And you wouldn't take Mom to see 50 Shades of Grey.
Yes, I would.
You would?
Yes, I took our mom to the porn house. She
No
wanted to go
way.
so bad. It was like her lifelong thing was that she wanted to know what they were doing in that building on, what is that, 20th and Market Street?
I wouldn't know what building that is.
Stop it. The one that,
On Market and 23rd? That one, yeah,
23rd
maybe.
Market?
It's the only one that's still left there.
Yeah, she wanted to know forever. Come on, I want to go in there.
Did you go? No, you went in with it?
Oh, my God, it was horrible.
What was going on in there? Isn't it like people like a Pee Wee Herman stuff going on?
It was horrible. So I take our mom in, and this is the thing. So we were like, it was like pouring down rain one day, and I was like, we should go. So we pull over, we're going to go. So you park the car around the corner because you don't want nobody to see you. And you go in, it's pouring down rain, there's nobody out there. It's great, right? You go in, and your feet are like sticking to the floor, and a boyfriend took us. One of my boyfriends took us.
Bad.
And he was like,
Not licorice.
Mom, don't touch anything. Just don't touch anything.
You took your boyfriend with you too?
Yeah, well, a man had to go. They might do something to us in there. We didn't know.
You took your mom, you, and your boyfriend?
Yes.
Oh,
we went to go see Lorena Bobbitt. What is it? John Wayne Bobbitt Uncut.
No.
That's what we went to go see.
But he wasn't cut.
We went to go see John Wayne Bobbitt Uncut.
But he was really cut.
Yes. Because
Is
my
that the
mother
one
was
that
like, because she was like, well, what is wrong with it? She was like, they should just made him a woman because that thing really don't work. So it just really was really sad. And the women was trying to pretend like they was going to do something with it. It was all
You
grotesque.
took your mom to that porn movie?
Yeah, that's what she wanted to see. Our mother loved court TV. So when she watched the Lorena Bobbitt trial.
Did he have his...
no, it had
organ?
it looked like Frankenstein. It was like stitched around it, and it wasn't like a good job. So it was kind of like off center. It was like kind of like
that was on. That was actually exposed.
Yes, and then they was trying to play with it and use it, and it was hilarious. It really was. It really was like the most hilarious thing ever. So the thing is over. So we watch it with our mom, and we leave. The problem is we walked outside, it was like, the middle of summer, and it was like beautiful and sunny, and it's like 2:00 in the afternoon.
Was the theater packed?
I don't know. I don't know how many people usually in there.
Did they sell popcorn or anything?
They do sell food. I told her she couldn't have none.
Yeah.
Don't touch nothing. That's what he told us. And then we sitting there, and then
they have ushers?
And he gonna come sit next to her. I'm like, it's a whole theater in here. Why you gonna come sit next to somebody? You got to get away. No, but then we had a problem because we couldn't get out of the theater because it was all bright and sunny, and we scared to go out there because it's all on Market Street that somebody was going to see us.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, so we sent the boyfriend to go get the car. He brought it around. I took our mom out with the trench coat. We got in the car, and then we went home and told my dad that we went to go see the porno.
Well, I don't know if that's a porno or a freak show.
I don't know, but it was at the Triple X house, so she was happy because she
So she
finally
wanted
got,
to see that.
Yeah,
so
she wanted to
because of the
go-
court system, she had to see that.
Well, no, she wanted to know what they was doing in there,
Yeah.
but she chose that movie because of
pick
the
a different
whole
movie.
court system.
Got to pick a different movie.
I'm just first of all, I think that we needed to be seeing a freak show because did you forget about the part where I was at the porno with my mom? Like you're like,
Oh,
I
yeah,
really
you're
didn't-
right.
I was like-
You're right. I forgot. Your boyfriend was there, so was your mom. Oh, boy.
Yes.
What do you say to that, Doc?
Good for your mom. You know,
High
I
five
have
for
to
the mom.
admit, when I was reading 50 Shades when it came out years ago, my mom was interested too in what all the hype was about. So she doesn't have a Kindle, so I had to go and get her the literal first book.
Wow.
And I gave it to her, and it was so funny because when I would go to her house, I would just see it there on her night table.
How long did it take her to read it? That's the thing.
My mother read it in
I
a
really
whole
don't even know
different.
my mom is a freak. I really
My
don't.
mom read it in a whole different way. She wasn't reading it as far as the sex scene. She thought that the author so vividly described the emotions of the characters and
That's
the
what she told
feelings.
you?
That's
Wow, yeah,
what she
that's
was
what your
most
mom- yeah, very
impressed about.
That's
cerebral.
what mom told you when she
Right.
talked about it. But when
Okay.
she called the Bertha and
Right.
Dorothea and Eunice, I don't know your mom's age, but they sound about the right
Yeah.
names. She told them something entirely different.
And you-
she was
Perhaps
telling
she
them.
did. She's hip and cool,
what she
my
told
mom.
them is she said, "I hope she don't find that box in the basement." That's what she told them.
And you know what? No, what's happening? Tonight's a perfect storm because you got 50 Shades of Grey, you got Valentine's Night, and you got Bitter Cold, the cold since
So you're gonna have lots
1996.
and lots of babies come
This is-
November.
Everyone write this down. November 14th?
November 14th.
November
Lots of babies.
14th. Let's see what happens.
The weatherman's making a prediction on.
Well, you're right.
on population
And
control.
he's going to be
Right.
right this time for sure, 100%
Hey,
for sure.
the doc is nailing me on my forecast accuracy. This one could be fairly accurate.
I think so. People are going to be cuddling up.
I think maybe a little bit more than cuddling up.
I think so.
Well, okay. We're
Well, I
going to go.
hope so. I mean,
Yeah,
there was
well, really,
good
it's
instructions
cold
in
out
50
here.
Shades of Grey.
They may be tied up. Who knows?
Yeah. Well,
You might actually need to go and find your girlfriend tomorrow. You might need to go check on her.
I think I
don't
may
know.
have to bring a date tonight to the comedy show. All right, we're going to take a break here. It's 6:10 a.m. WTEL, Center Stage with John Bolaris on this Valentine's frigid night. And hopefully this talk is giving you some great advice and how to find that right woman or right dude. We'll be right back. Hey, it's John Bolaris. When it comes to the weather, you definitely need to know, and you need to know now. It needs to be accurate. It needs to target your neighborhood. Use weathersavior.com exclusively for your daily weather forecasts, snow amounts, and breaking weather news. Weathersavior.com has all the cool tools, and we are fully connected to the Philadelphia community through our website, weathersavior.com, and our multiple social media platforms as well. You need to stay ahead of the storm. No waiting, no phony teases or alerts. Just a real deal. Weathersavior.com.
I smell sex and candy here. Who's that lounging in my chair? Who's that casting devious stares in my direction? Mama, this surely is a dream.
All right, it's John Bolaris, 6:10 a.m. WTEL Center Stage. Now, if you had your first date and your date, he brings you back to his apartment, his home, and puts on that music, will that set the mood? Or are you going to say, get the hell out
I'm
of
going to
here?
burst out laughing. I'm like, how old are you? Why do you know this song? Is your dad trying to help you seduce me? Right.
All right, so I'm going to leave that song off my list. Like some candy. No good. What about Marvin Gaye?
Because you definitely can't do it
I
since
wouldn't
you
do
over here
that.
dating
I'm
a
not going to do that. I
20-year-old.
would never do that.
You dating a 20-year-old?
I would never do that. I wouldn't. It's better. No.
It's looking
It's
shaky.
as long as when I say the Beatles, I don't say what bugs.
Oh, you mean like the people who think that,
Yeah, the
Kanye
Beatles are
West
not-
is bringing Paul McCartney out? The
Yeah, you
people?
see that? Mm-hmm. I met Paul McCartney. I met all those big wigs and their dates. And, I did shots with Cameron Diaz and jumped in pools. And, I guess everyone's just the same. Everyone puts on their socks the same. Their whatever the same. They have the same thoughts. They have the same vulnerabilities. I think even have more.
Actually, I think they have more
vulnerabilities because when you're up
Very
on the big
insecure
screen and you have that microscope on you, you are super paranoid and you are under that microscope and it is hard. Even when I was doing TV news, they would tell you, man, you look bad. Do this, do that. Where's your makeup? Let's get this lighting right. No, don't wear that. Do that. Don't turn that way. Don't turn this way. Don't turn that way. Look this way. wear glasses. They used to tell me to wear glasses when I started out because you look too young then. This was way back then, 1922. And they would say, you got to put on glasses. I didn't need glasses. So I had to put on glasses. I had to wear a vest, and Barney's suit. But TV, I mean, it was a lot of fun. I mean, it's lucrative. But medium radio, much better, much better. So you're going to have your date with your mom, which is great.
Yes.
I really like that. I think that's sweet. I always like sweetness about a person. I like a person's heart, soul.
And you would never think that about me.
No, I would. You got
I like
that.
to keep it on a DL.
You got that bright light. You got that bright light going. I can see that. You know, you're going to find that someone that you love forever. We got the Dr. Love here. You got.
Well, I don't have $25,000 to get on the list. Well, no, matter of fact, I can't even get on the list because you don't do women selected. I don't know. And actually, I might lower your statistics so she wouldn't take me on as a client.
Women join free of charge. Women join free of charge.
No, really?
I could lower your statistic real quick.
Women join free of charge.
Women join free of charge.
Isn't that a little bit discriminatory? 25
We take on
grand?
some selective female clients,
Wait a
but
minute,
majority
wait a minute.
male.
You said that women join free of charge, but you told me that I'm supposed to pretend like I'm going to act like I'm going to pay for the date. Look at that.
Look at that. Are you going to pay for the date?
No, remember that? Oh, yes. Well, she should offer, but women join free of charge. See, you already towing the line. You didn't even realize it.
That's
It's
right.
ingrained.
We take
Men pay.
Men pay.
Ladies, listen to me. Men pay. Don't let them get you with this new feminazi stuff. Let me tell you about feminism because they got the game messed up. Feminism is I don't have to do anything I don't want to. I don't open the door because it's dirty and I don't want to touch it. I don't want to get in the car by myself because it's low and I don't got to squat down in my 5-inch heels. I don't want to pay even though I have money because that's the whole point of dating, to supplement your income. Please listen.
Supplementary. Yeah, I guess the doctor would not agree with that one. No.
That's dating. I didn't say a relationship.
Okay.
The point of dating is to supplement your, all that stuff you wanted to do, make him pay for it.
Well,
Because we pay in our own way. Lipstick is like $65 a tube now. So, I mean, add some $35 pantyhose. Look, this just got expensive. And I don't even like you because you look like a hermit. We didn't discuss this because I'm dating everybody.
wait, pantyhose. What? The garter belt thing still going on?
I still do that.
I think that's pretty sexy.
Well, that's only because I'm tall and the pantyhose are always too short.
Well, I think that's good. I like that. You think that about that, Doc?
Haven't worn pantyhose in about 20 years.
No, garter belts.
Yeah. Oh, garter belts. Yeah, that's sexy. There's no question.
Sexy heels thing, ready, the Victoria's Secrets.
No, heels are sexy.
Yeah.
You may not be able to walk in them, but they're
You're
sexy.
not supposed to have to walk.
Right.
Duh.
If you sit at the bar and you're swinging
Yeah.
around your ankle and you got the great heel, you're on.
I think so.
It's, really works for me being that I'm 6 feet tall to start. It's fabulous.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think this is what we're going to close out here. It's Valentine's night. It's frigid. Hopefully you had a good time, and hopefully you're enjoying your date, and hopefully I want you to have the best time of your life and find that right one, because I'm still looking. Still haven't found what I'm looking for. I will find that. Hopefully you will too. Thank you very much for my guest, Monica Mandel. Thank you, Danielle Patterson. Sexy
Thank you for
Signals.
having me.
You were a blast. I am the Weatherman, WTEL 610 AM. Center Stage with John Bolaris. See you next week. All right.